So we're gonna look into this Germany is over video, and keep in mind I actually live in Germany, so it's gonna be very cool to see, let's say.
To the consequences of a fertility crisis made much worse by the mismanagement of the boomer generation. The demographic collapse tearing up the generational contract may soon destroy one of Germany's greatest achievements, its welfare state. Millennials, Gen Z and younger are left with a huge mess they somehow need to sort while they're outvoted by the grey bloc making the decisions for them. What happened?
To be honest, actually, I'm thinking I have to say something here. Um, it's it's not gonna be long. Probably, I know already where this video is going. The pensions, because here is like a topic that it has been discussed in Germany for a long time. I actually am not German. I came from another place here. The fundamental part in Germany is that they have a very big welfare state, which is super great. This is why people move here. But the problem is the way they treated the welfare state has made it also impossible to maintain it. Keep in mind, you have like a large population of Germans who are getting very old, which is, I think, 20-30% of the population, who either are going into pension very soon or are already in pension. And they needed workers such as myself to come here and then pay for the pensions, right? So they offered a good welfare state, good contracts, and you moved here. But I think a lot of people are not realizing right now that Europe is going through a down phase that will continue to go down, and there is no way out. So outside of this video and the focus of Germany and that is doomed and so on, yes, Germany is doomed, but so are all the other countries. What we have failed to realize in Europe is that the continent is suffering since the beginning of the 2000s. This is 25 years ago. They haven't, if you think about it, they haven't had a single great company that has been born, for example, in IT. So they skipped the whole IT bubble completely. They have no Facebook, they have no like innovation in Europe is dead, is completely dead. There is no way to do business, there is no way to do anything in Europe. But the most important part is the fertility. The fertility in Europe has collapsed, probably because you went away from traditional values, but it has it has tanked. I think that Germany has 1.16 children per family, something along those lines. Italy has it. Italy, who was a nation, for example, who focused a lot on family values, right? That nation as well, no children for a very long time. It doesn't matter what really you do at this point. These nations are doomed. I always laughed. Again, why? Because the pyramid is on the contrary, right? So very few people cannot maintain an inverse pyramid, right? It just doesn't work. The system is not built like this. The system is built with a large population at the bottom and very few at the top, right? And this includes the pensions, right? You cannot pay pensions if you are a small amount of people. Now we can increase productivity, but it will not be enough to maintain 30 million people over 60s. And I think that at some point the German state will decide to increase a lot the pension, the time in which you can go to pension. But I don't think it's gonna be enough anyway, because again, one child per family means you basically half your population every generation. To be honest, I don't see how we can solve this at all. And again, with that comes also the fact that you're demographically replacing Germany, right? So a lot of cultures come in. I give a very stupid example. They thought, okay, we import a lot of people. Fine, good. Those people should pay for the pensions. Good. Maybe this is a good plan. But guess what? They didn't. They didn't. Some of these people, like half of them, I would say, I don't know the numbers, but a lot, because I see them every day, go into the welfare state as well. So you not only have to pay for the pensions, you have to pay also for the people who live into the welfare state. And there is a lot of abuses, I can tell you that much. Here in Germany, there is a lot of abuses of the welfare state. But again, this to prove to the fact that you cannot save this place. You cannot. You cannot save Europe in general. Europe has a lack of. They don't have. Keep in mind this. No movies in Europe have been made about their armies, right? Uh, no movies have been made on how their armies were strong and so on. They always come from America. It's always America, the US, that has the strongest army, that they fight to die for their country and so on. Whether you agree with this approach or not, that, you know, America should not be an aggressive country, which I agree fully 100%. But keep in mind, Russia is at your doorstep. Russians die for their country. Your people don't die for your country. They could not give a shit about your country at all. They don't care if the country dies or not. You know how many young people I talk to that say, I don't give a shit. If Germany falls, I just leave. Who cares? The problem in that is that you don't have a cohesive nation. So have people from the outside who don't give a shit because they're not from here. Then you have people from the inside who don't give a shit because they feel betrayed by the country, because they feel treated like shit, and so on, right? So you don't have people who fight for your values at all. The countries are dead. Here in Europe, there is no country. Europe is like a supermarket, you know. It's like a place where you try to milk as much as possible and then you leave. I will not die for Germany, you know. I lived here 8 years, but I will not die for Germany. They try to steal from me, and keep in mind, I pay like 45% of taxes. My taxes go to found, you know, them, you know, who I'm talking about in the Middle East. So why would I care about a nation who didn't care about me in the first place, right? And again, like this, you have the whole of Europe like this. And it's funny to hear some boomers say, you know, we vote AfD because that will change things. It will not. The system is rigged. You have built a system that doesn't work, and it will not work, or will increasingly work less in the future. You understand? This is the middle age for Europe. A lot of Europeans haven't gotten a grasp on this yet. This is the middle age for you. You don't realize it yet. You will realize it maybe in 10 years, but it's already happening. Middle age didn't befall on the Roman Empire like this, you know. Overnight we are in the Middle Age, and from this point on, at 12, from I don't know, 15th of July 550 BC, it starts the Middle Age. No, it doesn't work like this. It's a process. And the Roman Empire had a lot of things stacked against them. Again, people who came into the empire who could not care less about the Roman Empire. On top of economic crisis, they had the crisis of the 3rd century, and you know, it was a slow process, and usually things happen all at the same time, who befall on a nation who's not ready for it, or that has prior problems, right? So problems on top of problems, and this causes the nation to spiral down slowly into the Middle Age. And this is what we are experiencing, and there is no way out of this. I don't know how to explain this, but if you don't make children, if you don't hold any strategic resources, and Europe doesn't hold oil, doesn't hold, you know, young people, doesn't hold great resources of gold or diamond or silver. If you don't have those things, you cannot recover from financial crisis. You understand? And we are in a constant financial crisis. It is since 2008 that Europe has constant financial crisis. There are, on top of that, in the past, when, like the Suez Canal crisis, when there was a crisis, you knew you were part of a bloc, the Western bloc, who had a lot of young people, who had strong economies, who had the US on the far rise, right, with a lot of resources and so on. And especially important, half of the country was not competing against you on the same level because they had communism. But now they are all competing at the same level. Every euro or dollar that goes away from the Western nation goes into the pocket of a Chinese, of an Indian, of a Russian, of a Vietnamese, and so on. And people seem to not have understand that. They didn't. They think, another crisis, we will get through it. No, you will not. In the past, if there was a crisis, there was no one who was taking your money, so you could get your money back. Right now, everybody wants your money, so you ain't getting it back. Right now, if you do a crisis in a nation, right, that has oil, to give you an example, that oil is not like you're the only one who will buy it. There will be China who has the money to do it. There will be India. Again, speaking about Germany itself, there is so many issues. The energy crisis. So they open. Imagine how stupid they were. They make a plan with Russia to have their natural gas. They build, a Nord Stream 2, a very big pipeline for the gas. They make themselves 100% reliable on someone else's strategic resources. Then, as soon as the war hits, you just get rid of them all of the sudden. You close all your nuclear power plants, right? You don't build an alternative for it. You build as an alternative natural gas. And even though you do that and you're reliant 100% on the natural gas of somebody else, you call that somebody else a fascist and so on, which I agree, but you cannot do that. Then don't build your entire economic structure together with a nation that you know that will do things like this. There was a war since 2014 and they kept on doing businesses with them for 8 years. And again, what was Germany famous for? They built very incredibly good products for cheap and